Today, we're giving you our version of a halftime speech for the year 2026 and the one mindset shift you can use to still make it the best year of your entire life.
Life is beautiful.
So we interviewed Rick Hansen, Dr. Rick Hansen, neuropsychologist and happiness expert, all about rewiring the brain recently.
That was a great
It
episode.
was a great episode, and if you missed it, you can check it out. It is number 277. And it's been weeks since we had that interview, but there's one quote that he said in that conversation that is still swimming around my mind, and I want to make an episode about it because I think it is so good. He said, "If you take care of the minutes, the years take care of themselves." I've been thinking a lot about this quote because, as you mentioned in our little trailer intro, whatever you want to call it, we are just over the halfway point of the year 2026. And I think that this has been one of our best years ever, if you look at it on paper. We are both in the best shape of our lives. The podcast is growing faster than ever before. Our revenue in our business is really starting to pick up. And the business itself feels like it's right at that edge of the exponential growth curve. And it feels like we're just ready to go parabolic here. And I think by the end of this year, we will look back and probably see some of that crazy hockey stick growth. And it's not because in December we set really good goals for the year. I think it's because in December we decided that this was going to be the great lock-in of 2026. And what I mean by that is you had just had a child. I am gearing up to have my first child soon enough. And we just knew it was time to really dial in our daily disciplines, dial in those habits, and show up every single day for the important stuff and to take care of those minutes, like Rick talked about. And as we've taken care of those minutes in the first half of the year, we're starting to see the year begin to take care of itself.
Why did this quote stick to your brain so much?
Because I'm a big goals guy. And I think goals are great. And we've talked about this many times in the podcast, and I've realized it more and more as the time goes by that goals are great, but when it comes to making real change in your life, it's the little things, it's literally the minutes, it's the little decisions inside the day that really make the difference and make those goals a reality. Like the goals are great. They set your direction, they get you excited, but it's the minutes that matter. It's the little things that matter.
100%. I agree with you. This is like our pretty much our guiding philosophy here, right? Which is the little things become the big things. And it really comes down to what Einstein called the eighth wonder of the world, compounded interest, right? We know it from investing. If you do a little bit over time, it really ends up being a lot.
Yep.
And as he said that story, it brought me back to one of my favorite self-help books of all time, The Slight Edge, which is an entire book about this exact concept of taking care of the minutes.
Yep.
And it reminded me of that story from The Airplane. Do you remember that one? It was like if an airplane takes off from New York, but it's off course by 1 degree and it's going to, I don't know, let's say Japan or Europe, it will end up in a completely different location. But when it took off, it was just 1 degree off. And that is the power of 1 degree. That visualization has always stuck with me of how the little things really do matter.
Yeah, I agree. I think another way to put this quote is if you focus on the inputs, the outputs will take care of themselves. If you focus on what you're putting into your day, what you get out of the days will basically happen on their own. And if you missed yesterday's episode, I'll give you a quick update on what we talked about. We got asked to be on Lewis Howes' The School of Greatness podcast, only to realize later that it was a scam. And we talked about how it didn't really bother us too much. And I think one of the reasons it didn't bother us too much was because we are professionals committed to putting in the work no matter what. And we have this faith that as long as we keep putting in the work day after day and focusing on the inputs, that outputs such as this big opportunity of being asked to be on this huge podcast are going to continue to come. they're going to happen on their own. So it's not like this was our one chance, right, to make it big, because we're focused on the inputs, not the outputs, and we trust that the outputs will
So
take
let's
care of
get back
themselves.
to the beginning of this episode and the promise that we made. Why are we bringing this up at the halfway point of 2026, Mike?
Because I think that no matter where you are at this point in the year, whether you feel like you're crushing it or whether you feel like you let yourself down a little bit after you set those New Year's resolutions, I think that there is one mindset shift you can make that will really help you finish this year strong. And I think 6 months is still enough time, as we've seen from the first 6 months of this year, to really get some of that compounded interest working in your favor and to still make this the best year ever. And that one mindset shift is this concept of being religious about your daily habits, right? There's one thing to say, I'm going to do this thing and I'm sticking to calorie counting, or I'm sticking to whatever habit it is that you want to stick to, journaling, meditation. It's another thing to be absolutely religious about something. To be so religious that there's no excuse, there's no distraction that could possibly show up to get you off course. And I think that's the difference that will make this the best year ever for you, is if you can get religious about something. Stop half-assing it, stop doing it only when you feel like it, and get religious. I'm just going to keep using that word because it really resonates with me personally.
Yeah. I would add to that and say also have a belief that just because, let's say, your first half of the year was bad, have the belief that the second half can be good. And I'm a big fan of identity or models to really picture that. And I'm going to do it again. I'm going to bring up the New York Knicks, right? The second half team, right?
Yep.
How many games did they have a shitty first half where it looked like they were going to get absolutely blown out? But one thing that team had was a belief that they were never out of it. And that belief is something that if you're struggling with the first half of this year, believe that you're never out of it. You can finish this year strong. Be like the New York Knicks that overcame a 29-point deficit and just do the work day by day, one possession at a time, like the Knicks did, and you can come out of this year with a W.
I like bringing in the actual halftime halftime speech analogy, bringing in the sports. All right, let's wrap this up with a call to action. The call to action for today is to pick one area of life you really want to transform in a big way by the end of 2026. So whether that's your health, whether that's your relationship, whether that's your work, and figure out, where do you need to get religious with a daily discipline? So let's say it's your mental health. Maybe it's getting religious about a daily meditation practice. Let's say it's your health. Maybe it's getting religious about hitting 10,000 steps a day, which, by the way, Nick, I am now 118 days straight on doing
Wow,
10,000.
Dumbledore clap for you there, buddy.
Thanks. If it's your relationship, maybe it's getting religious about putting a date night every week on your calendar. Whatever it is for you that you really want to step up in the last half of this year, get religious about one thing.
Lock in, brah.
Lock in, bro. It's time to lock in. All right. Love you.
All right. Peace.